Okay, so before we begin, let me remind y'all that colorism is the discrimination of darker skinned people within a race. So, light-skinned black people benefit from colorism. It does not go both ways. Now, let's get into it because it is a lot. Here are some examples of colorism in Hollywood.
You can make it to me. I don't do business with the help.
Black is the color of my true love's hair. Do you know who I am?
Yeah. My mother used to listen to you. Your name?
Natasha.
I'm Daniel.
There was a reason.
The reason why some people may not care about colorism when it comes to Hollywood is because they say that the actors are just doing their job and they're just acting. Well, if that's the case, white people could go on television, put on blackface, and then pretend to be black people, then they would be acting. But that's not right. So I don't see why when light-skinned black people get on TV, steal dark-skinned roles, play dark-skinned people, it's all of a sudden fine because, oh, we're all black. And duh, we're all black, but if light-skinned black people are the only people being shown on TV for representation, then what happened to that we're all black? Because if we're all black, then why aren't all shades of black being shown on TV? And why are light-skinned black people stealing roles from dark-skinned black people? I wouldn't say the colorism is only the light-skinned actors' fault because Hollywood is a white audience and they prefer light-skinned people on TV before dark-skinned people because with light-skinned people, they can have the best of both worlds. My issue with light-skinned actors is that they let this stuff happen. Instead of not taking the role, instead of not auditioning for these roles, they just take it and then make money off of them. Like you have light-skinned actors on TV being dark-skinned, like Zoe, whatever her name, I don't know her name. They're taking these dark-skinned roles and playing dark-skinned people and then making money off of this. They're benefiting off of colorism, which is the definition where light-skinned black people or light-skinned Asian people or light-skinned people in that race benefit over dark-skinned people. At the end of the day, they got paid to pretend to be a dark-skinned person or they got paid to take a dark-skinned role. They benefited from colorism. And while dark-skinned actors are struggling to get roles, like I know it's already hard for light skins because they're black, duh. But it's even harder for dark-skinned people if light-skinned people are stealing their roles. Okay, so the first example I want to talk about is Yara Shahidi playing the dark-skinned girl in that one movie called The Sun Is Also a Star. After the backlash, she was like, I'm not light-skinned, I'm brown-skinned, and someone said that she was biracial, but she was like, oh, when people see me, they don't think I'm biracial, they think I'm black because no one will see me as Iranian unless they hear my name. I personally think that she's a light-skinned woman, but even if you think that she's brown-skinned, she still has the hair and the features that Hollywood likes to use to portray black people on TV. She still benefits from colorism. So her being brown-skinned, whatever she wants to be, does not matter because you're still benefiting off of colorism and you stole a dark-skinned role. Like, the whole family is dark-skinned and the daughter is right there biracial. And yeah, you can be like, black comes in all different shades. You can say two dark-skinned people can make a brown-skinned person. You can say all of that. But at the end of the day, all these families on TV be dark-skinned families with a biracial daughter. Like, I know it can happen. I know two dark-skinned people can make a brighter person, but every single time? No, like, there's no way every pair of couple that's dark-skinned is making a biracial daughter. Like, quit. Like, no, at this point, they're dragging it. And she, as an activist who goes to Harvard, she knows better. Like, if you're an activist and you go to Harvard, then don't play dumb. Like, you know what you're doing. Just don't audition for the role. Like, it's that simple. And I get it. It's hard to get jobs because at the end of the day, they're black. But still, like, you know better. And at this point, like, it's annoying. Also, she's on Grownish, she was on Blackish, and if you know Kenya Barris, he is like the face of colorism when it comes to like the black television. Like, that man is colorist. It does not matter what you think, he is a colorist, that's a fact. So when you're already working with Kenya Barris, part of the whole Ish universe, then you're going to steal a dark-skinned role from a movie. I don't have any empathy for you. Like, I don't really care. Plus you're going to Harvard. Plus you're an activist. No, like, the most recent example is Zazie Beetz. Is that how you say her name? I don't know. But she was in the movie The Harder They Fall, and I know the cast is black people, dark-skinned people. But the issue with her is that the person she was playing was a dark-skinned woman who was real and an activist back in the day. A real activist named Stagecoach Mary, who is dark-skinned, on the bigger side, and she had like wide nose, 4C hair, all of that. So for her to be portraying an important person in history, in black history, while being light-skinned, skinny, and having the 3C, 3A, whatever hair, that's not right. Because that's disrespectful. And then in the movie, they also made her a love interest, which is weird because are you saying that the original Stagecoach Mary, someone who looks like her, could not be a love interest? Like, did they make her light skin so that she could be a love interest? Like, it's just so weird overall. And the fact that there's black people behind this movie too, like Jay-Z, is annoying because at this point, even our own people in Hollywood are perpetuating this whole thing of colorism. Like I said, Kenya Barris is the biggest one, but a lot of them do it, and it's usually behind closed doors as well. A similar example to the Zazie Beetz situation, but worse, is when Zoe Saldana played Nina Simone in that movie about Nina Simone. The issue again is that a light-skinned person is playing a dark-skinned icon, a dark-skinned important person in black history. And with this one, she made herself darker, they made Zoe Saldana darker, and they put a fake nose on Zoe Saldana. Like, at that point, just get a dark-skinned actor. Like, that's so disrespectful in many different ways. And some may say it's not blackface because Zoe Saldana is biracial, half black. But to me, that's close to blackface. Like, a fake nose and darker skin, I don't know, that's bad.
I should have never played Nina. I should have never played Nina. I should have done everything in my power with the leverage that I had 10 years ago, which was a different leverage, but it was leverage nonetheless. I should have tried everything in my power to cast a black woman to play an exceptionally perfect black woman. It's growing. It's painful. I thought back then that I had the permission because I was a black woman, and I am.
Another issue of mine is their lame apologies. Like, there's no way you were on set and they're putting on a fake nose, darker skin, and an afro wig, and you were just like, yeah, this is okay. This is okay because I'm half black too. Like, there's no way you sat and thought that. And then at the end of the day, it's like she made money off playing a very important history figure. So there's no, like, the apology does not mean anything at all. Like, you already benefited off of this, you profited off of this, and you help perpetuate colorism. So to come and apologize years later, it's like, why does it matter now? And then a lot of light-skinned actors who do take dark-skinned roles, who do play dark-skinned figures, and do this where they come after the movie's made and say, oh, well, I didn't know if I could play. I didn't think I was black enough, but I still took it because we're all black. Or I now understand colorism and how it affects the black community. Like, you people are grown. There's no way you just, after the movie was made, you got backlash and now you understand colorism and now you see why you can't play a dark-skinned character. Like, no, like, you knew better. And they also audition for these roles. Like, no one forces them to play these roles. So they play a huge part in the colorism in Hollywood on their own. Because people like to be like, oh, the casting directors chose them, blah, 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 blah. No, they auditioned, and most of the time, they know. Like, she knew who Nina Simone was before playing and taking the role. She knew better. and Zazie Beetz knew. All of them know. I feel like a lot of people mistake the word like light skin privilege for like light skin people don't suffer at all, or for light skin people aren't black, and that's not what it is. It's light skin people are favored in America and other places, or everywhere. They're favored everywhere because they're closer to whiteness. And yeah, the main issue is white supremacy, because without white supremacy or white Eurocentric standards, they wouldn't be favored. And we get that, like we know the issue of white supremacy, but again, when you're light skinned and you don't recognize that privilege that you have, and you play into it, then you're not helping anybody. And again, privilege is not equal, you don't struggle or you don't face racism. You still do, but you still have it easier than your other black brothers and sisters who are dark skinned. And yes, some light skinned get bullied for being light skinned, but some of y'all be lying. Because if you're just a bad person overall, and you just happen to be light skinned and you're getting bullied, then I think you got bullied for being a bad person. Like, a lot of people like to do that, where like they'll be like, I got bullied for being this and that, but you were just a bad person. Like, and some light skinned people will lie and say they got bullied for being light skinned, but they were colorist first to a dark skinned person. They'll be like, oh, dark skinned girls are jealous because I have good hair. Like, what does good hair mean? Or they'll be like, dark skinned people are jealous because I'm pretty. Like, are you saying that because you're lighter you're prettier? Like, they just say that and they're just being colorist at the same time and don't even know it. So sometimes, like, y'all be dragging it. Like, I know there's a possibility that you got bullied, but some of y'all be lying and some of y'all be dragging it. And also, like I said before, colorism is favoritism over light-skinned people. You getting bullied for being light-skinned, if it did happen and it's the truth, is not colorism at the end of the day, because again, colorism is a favoritism of lighter-skinned people in a race. So it's its own thing. You got bullied, and you can talk about that, but don't bring it up when we bring up colorism, because it's not colorism. Or don't bring it up when a dark-skinned person wants to talk about their trauma, because that's weird. Like, I wouldn't go under like an Asian person's comment about facing racism and be like, well, I'm black and I experienced this and that. That's rude. That's weird. Like, why would you do that? So why do you guys do it when dark-skinned people bring up colorism? Then you want to talk about I got bullied for being light-skinned. Like, make it its own thing. Make it its own topic. It's not that hard.